All right, testing, 1, 2, 3. Let's make sure this is all working. We are about to jump into some development shenanigans, and what that requires me to do is first head back to our primary workspace for this session. And find where we currently are so that we can move forward. So we get 4 different color schemes, each with a different type of dealio. I need to figure out which one of this should be a prefab and which one of these should not. Because if we can use one of these as a basis to do something else entirely. Let's see. Okay, so what we actually want to do is... Yeah, I think I know how to do this. So we've got plain pieces inside of each. Okay, so 'tis the season for LudoNarraCon. Thanks to everyone joining me. We are gonna make something. This is a behind-the-scenes stream. You can see the starscape that the player finds themselves inside when they are in a plane between 2 places. When the plane takes off, it randomly becomes one of 4 different plane brands. It belongs to one of 4 different airlines. One that's colored like this. One that's colored like this. One that is colored like this. And finally one that is colored like this. Now, the difficult piece of that is it took a lot of custom work to set this up the way it is. You know, next to the player's view, there is a series of particle effects that make this scene feel special. Like, just see it for yourself. If I go into scene, we've got this particle effect happening right past the player's screens where it's been most effective. We have it happening on an even bigger place across the way. So if a small enough dog is sitting next to you, you can see over their head to where all the magic is happening. This works well. It works every single time. It took a lot of time to get to this place. I'm really happy with where the plane scene is now. And today in this stream, for LudoNarraCon, which is this festival of incredible narrative-focused games, we're going to look at how we can do this, but bigger. Not just have 4 different airlines that you can jump into, that you can experience at any given time when you successfully catch a flight, but also 4 large variants of those planes for a total of 8 different flight experiences that you can have when you take off and catch a flight successfully in an airport for aliens currently run by dogs. I'm the developer, and director of the game, Oliver Nelson Jr. I'm working with a fantastic team of people to make this possible, of which this is most of them. And yeah, I'm faced with looking at the thing I've done and how do I tear it apart so I can do it again but better, which is surprisingly terrifying as a decision. But if I can find the right point at which to interrupt this process and do something else, let's bring it back to where we started. Nope, we were here. If we can find the right point in this process to inject the possibility of even more planes, we have the potential to do something really, really special. I just don't know where or how yet. So, the point at which to do this might actually be with the loops that each plane is comprised of. We're constructing all of this modularly. So if we see this piece of the plane is actually just one section that has had various objects turned off and on to create a piece of a larger environment. And we do that for every piece of the airplane, including the pieces you don't see, to create this effective environment. I just gotta figure out how to do that, but again. And a way I think I might handle this is if I jump into... Ooh, this is good. This is really good. So a long time ago, I got frustrated with how I had organized all of my models and pieces for the game. And I said, you know what? I'm tired. So what I'm going to do is... I'm going to completely reorganize the way each plane piece is treated. So here we have cabin loops, each of which is composed of 4 different pieces. So each cabin loop will have a consistent bit of the scheme. And if I plug each cabin loop of a certain scheme into the template for a plane, then it will work. The way prefabs work in video games is if you construct something once, you can basically then use that as you're making your own bricks you're using to build a building. So this cabin loop underscore small, that works really well because it just takes this overall principle. What is the bricks that we use to build our building, which in this case is planes flying through space run by dogs in our open world first-person comedy adventure game, and how do we turn that into something larger? I think if we can create a variant of this that is large, so cabin loop underscore small, make that cabin loop underscore large, and make what's called a variant prefab. So everything, the core of this prefab is untouched, but very easily... Yeah, if we can take this airplane and make what's called a variant prefab, so all of the traits of the original prefab are on there, and we just do some futzing with how that prefab is organized, we might have a road to do some really intriguing stuff as far as making a larger plane from the same bricks, the same foundation. So I might change one little thing about how I'm gonna move myself over here and make myself smaller. Nope, that just looks weird. Gonna put myself back where I was. Cool. Yeah, I think if we change the bricks, we can change the building. So that's where we're going to start. So the first thing I'm going to do is if I go to the plane, where am I organizing this? Cabin loop underscore small is in here. Huh. Don't know what that is. Scares me slightly. I'm going to pull this out. No, I think there has to be an easier way for me to do this. So if I change this name to cabin loop underscore underscore candy, and I do the thing that I originally did here to make multicolored airplanes a thing, which turned out to be a very bad decision. And then it will randomly make all enabled pieces on that part from one of these 4 sets, and then if you take all of that along the length of a plane, it will get multiple sets. Yeah. So cabin loop underscore candy enables one of these 4 things, and if I then drag it in, making the root of the currently open prefab into a new prefab of its own will make the open prefab a prefab variant with the new prefab as its base. That doesn't sound like what I'm trying to do. No, I'm actually trying to do the opposite. What I'm going to do is this, discard changes, revert. I'm going to take this piece of plane. I'm going to do the alterations I did on it in the prefab builder scene. I'm going to drag it back into the project as cabin loop underscore candy and see what happens next. Prefab variant. Okay. That seems to have just worked. So if I go into cabin loop underscore candy, it is a variant of the original thing. It carries all those traits, but it's constructed differently. So that's exactly what I need to do for a large version of our airplanes. Rad. Okay. Now, I wonder at what point I need to figure out how I do something different with... I have small planes. I think I need to make just a plane total planes. I zero it out. Huh. There we are. And I drag small plane into there. From there, I also make an object called large. Actually, yep, I'm going to use the candy thing, large plane, as a large plane is the second thing. It also has a copied component for a do tween animation is what I'm going to do. But I'm also going to make a normal planes. And normal planes, when normal plane is enabled, we can have the game automatically choose between this will work. Between a small plane and a large plane. If we want a special plane, on the other hand, which again we create special plane, we would turn off normal planes and create candy plane and haunted horse plane. Now I'm going to take this normal planes template, copy this component, bring it over into candy plane, and I'm going to stick all of the I'm going to stick all the candy variants in here as this hidden candy plane. These all rotate by 90 degrees, negative 90. Suddenly, the plane pieces are in the right context. There we go. I bring that into candy plane. Candy plane is a little bit different because nothing in it is randomized. We just have to, did I add the candy plane soundtrack into here? Plane track 3, 4, 1, haunted horse refrain. So we've got a haunted horse track, but do we have the candy track ready? I'm gonna check the other game files. Hey, did you ever finalize and send over candy plane? Picking my musician. Doesn't seem we actually have it in the game yet. So, which makes sense because candy plane was something we were working on anyhow. I take this cabin loop and from back to front, turn off small plane. Now I'm going to choose this little angle of the plane here. Drag that over and do that a bunch more times. How many loops make up the average piece of cabin? Yeah, if we do this work with candy plane, which is something that is going to take a while to get into the game anyway, it should give us a useful test case for making our actual normal plane stuff succeed. So we have 3 candy plane things here. We have 17 pieces of plane and 2 airplane wings. Rad. So just gotta do the 17 more times. What we can do is actually copy these 3, bring them over, drag them by a single piece, and voila. Now we can drag all of these over, which is a total of 6. So now we have 12 pieces all connected together, and bada bing, bada boom. So what was the number I said for how many plane pieces we have? We have 17 in a given airplane, so we need another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I lost my count in the first place. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, I'm worried I did this wrong. There we go. Okay. We've got one just obelisk of plane in the darkness. Rad. So from this foundation, we have to now check how the other plane was constructed. We're gonna go with chosen track, drag that in. What is the chosen track? Gonna delete it because we don't know what the chosen track is yet. We need the plane wing to be something. We usually determine that per plane. For consistency and simplicity, I'm going to have to do that. Find a way to randomize that manually. But that is not a big problem to solve. Actually, we can just copy these plane wings over directly from where they already are in the scene, duplicate all of them, drag them all into candy plane, and make Okay, plane wings left and plane wings right. That's left, left, left. Oh, no, I picked something that wasn't left. So left, 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 and left. All 4 color schemes. This is actually right if I look at it from that perspective. Plane wings right, plane wings left. Have them enable 1 random object. No, I did not want to apply that script to all of the individual wings. That would be weird. Enable 1 of these and then turn off the rest is what the instructions to the program will be. Same drill on the right. Enable 1 of these objects, turn off the rest, and to assist in that, I'm going to turn off 1 of these objects. Yep. Now I just need to figure out how we have to bring the particle effects over. Slightly more difficult. So bring over all of the lights in the cabin and the speed lines, because this is the same size plane. We should be able to just duplicate that and bring that into Candy Plane specifically. Cool. We've got everything from we've got all of the things currently streaming past the player's window, which is rad. I might be a bit cheeky and reduce the size of the plane to dangerous choice. We'll say for familiarity reasons, we don't want to quite take away how the player sees their space yet. Turn on all of the blocking pieces over here. And I have to do that for every other plane piece. I remember that now. Gotta turn on all the front pieces again. And then all of the front pieces one additional time. Have to actually turn those on. I have to do that for every piece of the plane. This is gonna get more complicated than I thought. But we're committing all the front pieces for this part of the plane. Did not, in fact, turn on the cabin divider. Okay, so that looks like an abomination, which means that it's working. So for now, we turn off all but one piece of this plane. Here, we do the same thing, but make sure each burnt piece is actually turned on. We need the back pieces for this kind of plane. So that means going into here, turning every single one of these on. Boom. Now we just got to do that for all of the pieces of a plane. Once we turn on the ones for purple and then gray, we should be in business. I have made a mistake. Did I? Yeah, for one of these. Yep, accidentally turned on the front pieces for one of these. Well, I actually needed the back ones. So that the candy plane works properly. There we go. So that makes purple work, and then we finally make gray work. Again, the abomination look just means everything is working as intended. Because this is candy plane, and candy plane is supposed to be randomized, so every time you come into the game, or rather, every time you come into candy plane, it looks like a completely different type of plane. I don't know which situation in which we're going to enable that. I wouldn't want to just use it on the quest line, considering it's already taking so much dang time. But it's certainly an interesting setting for a place. Yeah, now we're at the point where I need to see exactly how the rest of the plane cabin was constructed for small plane so I can make candy plane effectively. It shouldn't take too long, hopefully, but I might need to rely on y'all's memory to help me out. Go back to small plane, turn it on. What's the pieces on at the very back? 2 doors. 2 doors, no windows. So we turn off. This is gonna get weird. We're gonna turn off normal planes, turn back on candy plane, and see what are the pieces it's constructed of. Make sure door 1 and 2 are turned on, which means also turning the things in them on, and turning off the windows. If that is, I'm going to check one last time to make sure that there's nothing else back here. Yep, that's the only requirement. So go back to special planes, go to candy plane. I'm wondering if it would be uncanny to leave this airplane cabin open to the vacuum of space. Probably. So we're going to go into our pieces, turn on, everything is turned on and off. That should be on and off, and use that as a template to turn on the rest of the pieces. So we take off the windows, turn on the doors. This is relatively simple. Yeah. Now we turn off that piece. Actually, we could leave it on. Turn on Burple. Turn off the windows. Turn on the doors. I'd like to listen to the doors. I should turn on the doors. But that's copyrighted, so I can't do that on a stream. Curse this foul, cruel fate that I'm doomed to. Turn off the windows. Turn on our doors. And that should be enough to construct the first part of the plane. I just have to do that 16 more times. 15 more times. Nope, that's 16 more times. There has to be a way for this to be easier. I don't think there is. Dang. Okay. Nonetheless, we will advance. And that is one piece of the candy plane definitively covered. Turn off candy plane. Turn on normal planes. Whoa, what's the deal with this light? It's a really... Why is this... Did the lights in here look really blown out? Oh, because candy plane is still on. So it was duplicating every light in the game. That's not good. So we need to have our windows on, the windows at half position, and or full position, nearly full position, and then our chairs up. Go back to special planes. This is the stuff that game development is composed of. how do we make this go higher? Gonna change the increments for this. This one was at half, nearly. This one. We're gonna change some things slightly because this is candy plane. Worry a little bit less about continuity, especially in pieces of the plane that folks will never see, which should both reduce our workload in terms of having to go back and forth and duplicate everything, but also result in a really fun effect where it's like the planes you've been in before, but not quite. That's gonna feel great. So we've got windows and chairs. That's all that this plane needs. Now we just need it for every other piece. Take the windows, put them up, put it up, and turn on the chairs. Is this chair not? Yep, the chair is on. It's just blending in. So that is one. So those are two pieces of the second piece of the plane successfully turned on. You need to turn off all of these back and front blocking pieces because they are not necessary. Now we bring on Burple. I would warn the photosensitive among us to be careful because there's going to be a lot of color juddering as we test this. Turn off these pieces of the world, turn on these chairs, and what do you know? It is indeed working. Great. Now we go to gray. Change the windows. And turn on the chairs. Yep. That is this piece of the airplane successfully completed, and now that it is, we can give it a color scheme to signify where it is. Great. What is the third piece of this airline cabin like? Third piece, just chairs and windows again. Fantastic. Turn on our chairs and we are done. We gotta move the windows. I mean, the player never sees this piece of the plane. I don't know why I'm being so meticulous about the windows, but I don't know, it wouldn't feel complete without it, I think. Nope, don't want to turn that off. I want to turn this on. Turn on the chairs. Turn off the blocker pieces. Rinse and repeat. If you want to do something special, sometimes you just gotta do a whole lot of that weird, repetitive stuff. We've got plains. Finally, pieces gray. Turn on our chairs. Turn on our front and back pieces. Rad. That is a third piece of the cabin complete. Now, it seems like the next piece of the normal plane is going to be a little bit complicated. Oh, shoot. I realized one of the things that was missing. We're missing the plane figures and plane NPCs that also need to be in Candy Plane. Otherwise, we do not have passengers. These passengers also show us exactly where our seats are, so we can actually just tick on. I'm going to take it step by step, actually. I'm not going to rush that, but we know exactly where our passengers are because we've already got the template from the previous thing. For purposes of being clever, I'm going to turn off some of the members of this plane, this honored delegation. Because the Candy Plane, I imagine, is not super frequented. Like over here, this dog straight up doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. You don't exist, and you don't exist, and you don't exist, and you don't exist. You don't exist. You certainly do not exist. Don't 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 exist. You two get to continue to sit next to each other. Man, that immediately makes the airplane already just in the temp state feel way weirder. I don't think I fill out every chair on the plane already. Maybe I did that to optimize something? I don't know. I thought that every chair on the plane was filled with a dog. That is an interesting surprise. I'm into that. Okay. We've got a not full house anymore. The ways we can make this space distinct. I think we can add way more consoles along the top. And by consoles, I do not mean PlayStations or Xboxes. I mean these things. If we have way more along the top at every piece, just endless entertainment, that will give this plane an interesting vibe that isn't present here. Here, this plane just looks reasonable. We need to make a completely unreasonable plane. But what we should do that for, my mind tells me we should do that for the large version of our plane. My heart tells me we should do that for the... Mine tells me we should start moving to the large plane. My heart tells me, hey, we already started on the candy plane. Why not finish it? My heart is a jerk because it means I've just got a whole lot of work to do that I'm not going to use for a while. I gotta decide whether or not I will exercise self-control because I want, now that I've started, I want to finish up this plane. If y'all want to see this plane wrapped up before we move on to the large plane, I am open to that option because I want to do it. I want to make a different. Ooh, okay. I already, you know what? Not gonna erase that work, but this, all the dogs here, this entire row no longer exists because this is going to be the row where we start to get distinct and weird. Let's set up some curtains. Fantastic. And some more curtains. And finally, these curtains. Just a lot of curtains. Let's take out these windows. Replace at least one of them with a console on the ceiling and then a let's go with a door. That feels weird. If I go back to the player's view, that's gonna feel weird. Don't know if it's gonna be in a good way yet. No door, just a window. Now it feels weird because of the closeness of the drapes to the window. Yeah, I have an idea. Part of the reason I was going with the other one as a template is to save me some of this work. But that's okay. What we're gonna do, turn on that wall, have this also be a wall, turn on at that point a, nope. We're designing a plane at this point. We're just straight up designing the plane. Let me see, did I already do all the pieces of this plane? Yes. For this segment of the plane, we're straight up doing design again. Might as well do this. Gonna go to the, it's supposed to be a back piece, and turn it on. How's that gonna feel? Feels weird already. If we turn around back 0 and back... Nope. Back 4. Back 3 and back 4. Yeah, it feels weird. It feels weird, but it feels new, which is what you want for the candy plane. New and off. So we need to have the aisle, ceiling, wall console 2, and curtain 1, 2, and back 3 and 4 on for every piece of the plane. Let's do it. Wall console 2. Burnt. Wall 1. Burnt. Curtain 1 and 2. We're going to set that to burnt. And have I turned off? I want back 3, 4 on, but the rest of these to be off so that I can press these buttons and suddenly these pieces of the cabin are identical. Cool, rad. It'll be much easier to do the next one now that we've done that a couple of times. Window 1, 2. Everything but back 3 and 4. Wall console 2. Wall 1. Curtain 1 and 2. That's 3 pieces down, 1 more piece to go. Turn off the windows. And I turned on the backs for these, right? Yep. Okay. All 1 gray. That was missing the curtains. Every piece now aligns, and we've got another piece of the cabin done. Man, this is gonna feel weird. What are we gonna use this space for? What if we used it for a couple of ceiling consoles? Nope. What I'm trying to select is this piece of the cabin. So if I fill it with ceiling consoles, how does that feel? No, that isn't the place to put a ceiling console. You know what we could do? We could make this easy on ourselves and just put some empty chairs here. Or only do 1 bank of chairs. these ones. Yeah, I can live with that. Chairs 1. Okay. Could turn on chairs 1 and adjust the windows, and actually that should be all we need to do for every segment. Turn off these burnt and back sections, these back and front sections, just to be safe. And this would make it slightly more complex, but what if we turned on a couple of these dividers? How'd that... Ooh. Yeah, that feels great. Dang it, I gotta do that for everyone now, but that feels really nice, actually. It breaks up the space in a way that the candy plane doesn't have. We can, just because it's another additional. Not gonna mess with the curtain. You know what? Not gonna mess with the curtain. Just gonna continue never changing a thing after I've done it once, because it takes time, and it's gonna be... I have to keep track of every replication of that principle across the rest of the entire game. Chairs 1. Turn on these back pieces for purple. Turn off the back sections, except for the ones that we want, including back 2. And voila. Finally, chairs 1. And that should just address our problems. So let's turn off everything but purple. No, not pieces, Gray. Oh, bless me. That sneeze has been waiting forever to come out. Yeah. Now we come to this part of the plane where, because of how the rest of the thing is constructed, let's actually just see how this looks in the normal plane. We're already starting to see how the design changes we made early on are affecting the feel of the rest of the thing. Let's, first of all, move to where the player's perspective would be, I think, right about here. And look at what's shaping up. That's going to be real interesting. Now, all we have to do is check to see how this compares to the normal planes. Did I correctly guess where the player is? Yeah, I did. That's rad. And we just got some simple curtains there. Much airier space. Most of it plain wall. And then just plain seats. So we're already making some pretty substantial changes. Plain wall and plain seats I can roll with. So now we gotta do that for every other plane piece. Chairs. Window adjustment. We're starting to pick up a rhythm now. Turning off the back and front. Purple. Figuring out the large plane after candy plane seems like it'll be a much larger task, so we might just limit ourselves to candy plane for today and then see how it actually functions in the project. This could be exciting because I always wanted to. This sounds like a lifelong dream, and it's only a partially lifelong dream. I really want to write a dog that's like Willy Wonka, just deeply weird. He's like, "Hello, friend," and you're like, "Okay, weird dog has brought me onto his weird, pretty empty piano concertina inspired super plane. Feels strange." And then you have a conversation with him as long as you take his airline. Oh, shoot. I'm going to write this down. If I make it so that every time you come to an airport, he offers you a ticket wherever you want to go, you just got to bring him something rare, then he could be a thing that makes even airports across the universe. I'm going to write this down. This is a really interesting idea. Yeah, this is a system that we could use to make airports feel more alive. Candy plane is a plane that only goes to one destination. You just gotta find the dog in the airport. The Willy Wonka like dog in the airport. Goes to one destination, randomized every time you meet him. You just gotta find the Willy Wonka like dog in the airport. Do him a favor and then board. Yeah, that's gonna be neat. That's gonna have some neat consequences. let's see. It feels like this piece of the plane is done. So let's make this another gray. I don't think we're doing much with gray right now. So let's just make this gray. Cool. Yeah, I feel like it just does what it's supposed to do. Which is all we want from this section of the plane. Moving on to the next one. This is where some interesting stuff happens on the normal plane. We start using some ceiling consoles, and here, yeah, we put a ceiling console above this dog's head. I'm gonna shift it to be in the middle. And then have, yeah, basically just more along these ceilings. I don't know how does this affect player perception from this view? If I instead had it here, I know I had very careful intentions when I first built these airplanes. I just don't remember any of them. Yeah, the only change is this is just a regular seating area. We just have a console, at least in this version of the plane. On Candy Plane, which is becoming increasingly distinct in a way which could become scope creep if I'm not careful. We're going to do this. We're going to open this up. It's still going to have windows that are open windows. It's going to have chairs. You know what? We're getting in close enough to where the player's position is that I should I should work out the players section before I do anything else. That's the best way to ensure a consistent and satisfying player experience. I gotta do it from the player's perspective, otherwise this doesn't work. I have to be able to test my work. Petting spotlight is right above where the player would be. So, yep. If I can affect this part of the loop, just get that window way up. Open that window. Get those chairs. Man, this already feels so different. Crap. I didn't expect this. If we combine it with that system I was coming up with on the spot, this is going to be really special. This is going to be a special piece of the overall landscape of the game. Wow. Drop these curtains. What I might do is, especially because this is just a good spot for the player in general, Um, I might make it so the player sits on the right side of the plane instead of the left side of the plane, if only just to make the difference between large and small planes feels significant. If I can pull that off, I think that'll work really well. Gonna make another note. Have player on right side of plane for large planes. Yeah, there was a temptation early in the development process to say, okay, make it so the player can sit at a random place every time they board a plane. And that's an interesting idea conceptually, but the amount of work it adds to make sure every seating spot is satisfying and interesting to be in, and it doesn't break any other piece in terms of like your view lines or where the pups are, just the amount of control that's lost or the amount of individual values that have to be calibrated to feel good. You gain so much more in terms of both efficiency and the overall player's experience and the sense of safety and achievement and home they get coming into catching a flight, just being in one consistent place. I think it would be dangerous to alter that willy-nilly. Where did that phrase come from, willy-nilly? It doesn't seem like it was just an organic part of human speech. Let's get these chairs. And in the purple plane, you can only see a little bit. Only a little bit of the outside. But their window, super open. Totally jelly. Not going to say that again. Just turn on the gray. Now this one is kind of closed. And yours is, again, more open. Cool. Cool. Time for chairs now. Chairs. Yeah. This is gonna work well. We finish up. It seems we've finished up this piece of the plane. So we're going to wrap up our stuff here. Satisfied, happy, and close up Candy Loop. So now we got to figure out, now that we have the player's perspective, we can more accurately judge. I haven't saved my work in a while. That's terrifying. Okay. Created a candy plane variant of a normal modular plane building block. Now constructing said candy plane, which is difficult and exciting. I like putting descriptive commit messages, if only to capture my own terror in hindsight. It works. So from here, what would be interesting? What would be an interesting view to get? You don't really see a plane door. Ooh. Okay. I'm calling an audible. if I... this piece of the plane. This piece of plane is ripe for being altered in such a way that we can see a plane door. Turn off the windows. Turn on the doors. Turn on the... I hope this does not turn into a bunch of wasted work. Turn on the wall console. No. Wall console obscures door. I'm talking about ceiling console. From player's perspective, yeah, you've got a... Yep, this is gonna... I feel good about this. I feel really good about this. So we're going to go door. So the sequence is aisle, ceiling, console, door. Should we have 2 consoles? Is that decadent? Are we ready for this? That is decadent. It feels wrong. But console there feels right. Before we do this, we should construct the piece right before it. Now we're skipping around because I am excited. And... feels so weird. Feels so strange. To just be confronted by some doors. Turn off the door. Well, not turn off that door. Turn off door 1. Turn on a wall. Give me some drapes. What? Does this feel too empty, is the question then. Is this a point at which I then have these? Yeah, the curtain feels alike too much, so maybe this is just an empty space? There has to be a way to make this feel more significant. That just blocks off. Maybe this is just the place where you stick a normal wall. Maybe that just works. And you have a... let's say a piece of front there. Yeah, none of these are worth sacrificing the visibility. We're just gonna have a wall there. So the order here is console 3, wall 1, door 2. That should be simple. So let's try that. Console 3, wall 1, door 2. Turn on all the things associated with said objects. Turn off all of these components. Go to Burple. Aisle ceiling. Console 3. Wall 1, door 2. And then activate those components. Turns out I love designing planes. I thought I hated it, but it turns out I just hate clicking the same things in the same order every time. It's a living hell. I would not recommend it for anyone. Unfortunately, that's a lot of game development. So, I sure chose an interesting career. Console 3, wall 1, door 2. Cabin walls, cabin ceiling console. Yes! Okay. This is not going to be gray. We're going to just make this chunk as far as like its temporary representation. Not burnt. We're going to make it a default. But all of those things are mirrored, so... Okay. Did I finish doing this? No, the windows are closed, which means I obviously didn't finish doing this. That should be my reminder to myself. If the windows are closed, I did not close off the task. So let's check to see what other pieces of this section need to be taken care of. This is just a chair section, so we're just going to turn on those chairs, turn off these components that are unnecessary, if only for our own future safety. Flip up this piece of the plane, flip up this piece of the plane. That's done. Pieces purple. Let's see if I flip this up now, make that really high, make this really high, less high. Okay. Turn on the chairs. That works. And then we have gray. Increase those ceilings. If I put that there and I put this over here, that should just about do it. I need to change the chairs, of course. And I think I forgot to turn off the wall components on purple. Did I do that? Nope, I remembered. Cool. I forgot that I remembered, which is certainly ironic. Turn off purple and gray, and just leave on burnt. So, boom. We are in this seat, and we've got all this happening right in front of us. Man, it is really exciting to have just a... I forgot how to block the rest of this space because this is intended to terminate at the end of this hallway. I want to kind of keep the same... Even though I put in all the work, I can... Let's say that the context is you're taking a VIP seat. So you just don't... Yeah, we're going to put all of our blocking elements here, and this is just going to be super blocked off. So that means eliminating... Not eliminating. That sounds threatening. We're just removing. We're taking care of... The dogs there are no longer there, is the point. So let's turn off these windows. Hope my skipping around does not mess anything up. Turn on these wall consoles, which look weird because of how they're being lit. Let's see. I might need a second light up here, just so we can feel like there's like light at the end of the tunnel. What am I trying to do here? I want to pull up a curtain. Can I do that? Is that legal? This isn't... Hmm. So if I turn on wall console, turn off wall console tool, replace that with a regular wall, and then I put in um, if I put in two, if I put in two drapes around there, what does that do? Uh, and then if I turn on front section, uh, yeah, that's, hmm. Is it too obvious at that point that there's nothing there? If I change the position of that light a little bit, it looks like it's peeking around. Yeah, like there's something if you were to peek around the corner, even though it's just surprise wall. So, just making sure I indeed turned on. Yes, turn on gray. Uh, so what I'm trying to do is curtains, and if oh yeah, if you walk past this, it does have a feeling of openness. I'm just trying to figure out if I take this loop, part of the loop, and then I turn on the chairs as it's supposed to be, and I turn in. Does it the plane feel too open at this point? Weirdly open? I don't know. I don't know yet. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out by testing. We're gonna test our work soon. And if it turns out that we made a bunch of incredibly obvious and horrible mistakes, then you know what we can do? We can just change it. We can just change it. That's us. I should have candy plane based off of my notes. If I turn on view, turn on list, candy plane, let's see. Uh, we have Uranus, we have Marinara Trench, we have Horse Plane, we have Beachwell, we have Phobos. We have this track. So TB. I'm wondering what that does. I'm not finding candy plane, so we gotta identify where that is. Maybe I stuck it in the wrong place in these project folders. So this is what candy plane. Feels like that fits the vibe of this plane. Not gonna impinge that. It's pretty similar. So we should be getting the candy plane track, which I might have lost track of pretty soon, which is good. This is the time to set up. Should I have another console here? Yeah, let's try a ceiling console. Console 2. Yes, console 2 feels good there. Rad. So we have window 1 and 2, chairs 1 and 2, and then console 2. That I can remember, I think. So let's turn on the next piece of this plane. Turn on that. Turn off rather this, and then turn on ceiling console 2. And suddenly we've got another piece of this plane. Gotta change this first though. Gotta put up those windows for the pup's own good. Pups love to look out windows on the universe, except for when they're in the driver's seat, in which case it then inflicts cosmic psychic damage. But we aren't going to talk about that right now. I'm turning on chairs 1 and 2, and then console 2. And that should suffice for... I'm just going to listen to Candy Plane some more to get that vibe. Yeah, it's good that I'm exploring this before I make the rest of the airplane stuff. I think I'm getting better at the airplane design as I build this, especially because it's supposed to be so weird. I mentioned before I just done a lot of experimentation to find our current way of handling airplanes for our normal planes. So getting a different sensibility so that I can effectively build another plane. That's becoming unexpectedly important as we go further. This was a valuable process, is what I'm saying. So let's go to console 2, gray, chairs 1 and 2. Let's turn off everything except for, let's say, purple. And if I do, I'm left with this. Neat. Neat. Really neat. Did I do my due diligence for the rest of the pieces of this part of the plane, though? No, I did not. Okay, so I gotta... Here, the thing is, wall 2, console 1, front 2, 3, 4, and curtain 2, 3. That's a little bit more complicated. But we can do it together. I am confident in that. Is there any way I can set this to loop? So closing pieces default. So we have wall 2, console 1, curtain 2, 3, front 2, 3, 4. So let's start with front 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's gonna work. That's gonna work well. Wall console 2. Or was it wall console 1? Nope, it was wall console 1. I guessed wrong. And then wall 2? Yeah, that should be it. There we go. When the Z fighting starts happening, you know that the game is working well. Turn off the windows. And it's wall 2, wall console 1. Yes. Did I already turn on the curtains? Yeah, curtains and consoles and wall. Okay, I just figured it out. Finally, the gray. Turn that off, and we have wall 2, wall console 1. Turn on curtain 2 through 3. Turn off everything but front 2, 3, and 4. I think everything is working as intended now. Just gonna check one last time. Burple didn't have its cabin dividers turned on. Blech. Let's see. We're gonna have the pattern for this be gray. Nope, because it looks like burnt and gray look really nice, and purple look really nice next to each other. But of course, the whole point of this plane is that I sacrifice control over it as soon as it basically gets chosen. Because it just randomizes every single color scheme. It has no internal consistency. But the patrons voted that we keep that option in for something. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna make it work. Let's see. So if I This needs to be a set of chairs. I'm skipping around too much. Still need to wrap up all the stuff leading back to here. Yep, see, I should close these windows because I'm not done here. All I've got is the chairs. In fact, I'll just make sure that that's taken care of now. Chairs 1, 2. Turn off all of these components. Put up the windows. Should be able to see outside. Puppos love it. Ceiling aisle. Let's see. So, do all of them have their chairs turned on? Yes? Okay. This is the place where I would have put a console. That feels good. Console 2. I need to put a console 2 in each of them now. But that is no great sacrifice. Let's see. Burnt. Let's go with default there. Another place for some passengers. Wait a second. Oh, yeah. Got confused where the outline was. Gotta turn on some chairs. That dog visibly has his window closed. Maybe that should be the case for every dog here. Turn on the chairs and then let's see, pieces burnt. Let's go to pieces purple. And continue to ignore the growing amount of red arrows at the bottom of the screen. Chairs. Yes. Window. Kinda open. Let's see. Pieces gray. Turn off all of those gray pieces. Turn on the chairs. keep that window closed. Keep that window closed. You know what? Might keep that window closed. Yeah. I feel good about that decision. So, is that every color scheme accounted for? I believe it is. Let's just go with a purple there. Seems to be the dominant color scheme there already. Yeah, I'm not gonna add another console there. If I want to pull off the Willy Wonka thing, I have to, the cabin has to be brighter. So I just gotta scroll up all of these things which we've been altering. And if I manage to get to the top, I can get this point light here. It's currently blowing out that segment. Instantly makes the entire thing feel brighter. Especially if I move this back, move this. Yeah, going from the player's seated position. It looks darker in the back, which could be a problem. So, yeah, even though it's got a bright light behind there, it's obscured by a Yeah, let's just install the chairs here. Get that wrapped up. My hierarchy is so messy right now, and I do not like that. Window wide open. Not wide open, somewhat open. Let's see. That has the chairs. Now we just gotta do that for the rest. Turn that window way up. That window way up. Let's see. Chairs 1 and 2. Turn off all those components. That should have that finished. Turn off all these components. Window, chairs. Pieces gray. Turn on those chairs. Turn on the windows. And change the height of said windows. Let's go with this, and voila. Brilliant. could bump that up a little bit. Let's go with if that's all wrapped up, we might go with a default again. Do I gotta go burnt? Is that just what looks better? Yeah, it is. Actually, if I just go double purple, how does that feel? That 0.9, I have no idea what just changed on the screen. But I'm really worried because I do not use, well, I use Unity a lot, but I don't know it enough to know that that isn't bad, that isn't just really, really bad. I'm gonna turn on a different candy plane thing, just because like that's been looping a while, and I'm still digging it. But I want to make sure that no one else is getting in a place where they're going batty. Let's go with plane track 3. That's slightly sleepy. Cannot bear that kind of energy right now. Also kind of sleepy. I can do that. Cabin loop. I feel like that decides everything up to where the player is. Gosh, this looks so weird. Man. The speed lines look so cool. I'm gonna alter this low. Yeah. I want people to see the cool speed lines and the cool particle effects that are making this place look and feel magical. This already has been taken care of. Yes. So we're going to close this part of Candy Loop. It seems like everything has been done up until here. So if I can just do these two pieces, I'm actually finished with Candy Plane. I finished Candy Plane. That's incredible. This is amazing. I'm gonna save and push this. Nearly finished with Candy Plane. That's a 3 megabyte change. I hope that isn't a bad thing. Okay. Let's see. Oh, that's a good pup. Let's see. I should probably test this soon. We'll test this soon. This will be tested very soon to make sure it is what we need. But I'm not going to worry about it too much before then, because at this point, constructing the thing and finishing it up is the most important variable we can use to determine whether or not it is in fact the right way to go. So pieces default. We're gonna turn on some chairs. These dogs are getting chairs today. Woo! I want to do a dangerous alteration. I want to go to curtains too. I want to just move the curtain. Can I just move the curtain? Nope. I just want to move the curtain. Yeah, it does feel weird. When am I ever going to use that center curtain just by itself? Am I ever going to do that? I might not. Anywho, we're at Cabin Loop Candy Variant 14. And we got windows to adjust and dogs to take care of. Let's... This can be a kind of full row. That looks better as kind of a full row. Yeah, I'm never gonna take for granted just having working airplanes ever again. Though now I'm doing this, I am wondering... So based off of the way the game is currently constructed, you automatically come to the plane and we put you on one of 4 planes. But if we're gonna have stuff like the candy plane, how are we going to deactivate that scripting so that you just end up on the candy plane and not like on a hybrid plane or on a crashing plane or anything else? Is a crashing plane possible within our... Yeah, I'm dealing with some existential questions at this point. Let's move on to the next set of pieces. Burnt. And... if I can pull this window up and this window up, turn on these chairs. Did I forget to do the chairs for burnt? Nope, I did do the chairs. Just need to do the chairs for gray now. Let's see. It's got chairs, windows have been altered. I think that decides all 4 color schemes. Let's make this a... purple. let's see. Does the plane feel right at this point from this perspective? Let's unselect everything. Does it feel sufficiently bright? No, it doesn't matter if this place is sufficiently lit if it doesn't suggest the what we need it to artistically. Okay. So this is really blown out here, but we aren't worrying about how it's blown out for a piece of the airport or airplane that we don't see. We're looking at it from the player's perspective. So, similar thing, is that enough consoles? Yeah. I think this is the one. And this is the final piece of the plane we have to alter. We're nearly there. It's kind of sparse, though. No blocking lines of sight. I'm tempted to call another audible. If I put a... Instead of a window, if I put a wall console, what happens? Not a substantial difference. Console 1. What does this cabin need? What's happening here? So the problem with this airplane is that at a certain point we're starting to get into... So we avoided one sector of uncanny, which is making it too much like the normal plane. And that's great. The planes feel distinct. That's what we want, right? But the flip side to this is the normal plane has an established sense of braking flow, and also a vibe it's trying to replicate. The vibe of being in a pretty crowded airplane. Full house, absolutely. And you're in the middle of the section of it, right by the window. In our case, I'm doing this really weird thing where the suggestion here is that you are, because of especially more closed off segments back here, you're closer to the front of the plane, but you're still right by the wing. And also, like, you're seeing the plane door for the first time. But there's just this... If we just put chairs here, I think it would feel off. However, I've been overthinking it and not actually placing chairs here to see how that would feel. So that was silly of me. But now I put it there. Yeah, the ceiling, it feels like there's not enough space being broken up. So I've been trying, sticking in a console here, or sticking in a curtain or something to resolve this issue. The curtain feels good. Wasn't expecting that. If I take off chairs 1, no one's ever going to see those windows. I don't have to make this a different window, but I am, because I'm weird like that. I want it to be a regular wall. Actually, it doesn't feel open enough if it's not a window wall. Even though you can't see it, I don't know why. It doesn't feel right in my brain. So I've got that. Crap. Is this the place at which... If I take out the chairs here as well, and I turn off the window, is this where I might be able to put another wall console? No, wall console is too much. What if I just put curtain 1, curtain 3, and 2 windows? Yeah. Yeah, that might be the balance. Yeah. Yeah, this is right. We have window 1, window 2, curtain 1, curtain 3, and we have the aisle in the ceiling, of course, which means no seat here, which means there shouldn't be any dog here, which there isn't, so we're good there. And because the player can't see this section of the airplane anyway, I'm not going to worry about adjusting the windows. Also, because there's curtains there, we wouldn't functionally want to deal with that. Let's turn off this, turn on pieces burnt, and replicate that effect. So window 1 and 2 are on, curtain 1 and 3 are on, and we're turning off all the burnt bits. Now, once we turn off those burnt bits, we need to start with gray. Curtain 1, curtain 3. We have to turn on gray first off. And yeah, that looks really, really pretty. 1 and 2. Yeah, all we're doing is turning on the curtains and disabling any dividing walls. Turn those off. Turn on purple and burnt. Yeah, I think at this point all those pieces do have their appropriate curtaining, and now it's a matter of finding what curtain to choose. We might go with gray. Yeah. So we've got a door here. Is 2 consoles overkill? I asked this question earlier, but I'm gonna ask it again. It is. I hit a button and bad things started happening. Yeah, that was just a selection change. Okay. So plane wings are also automated via code. The cabin loop has been closed. Candy plane seems like it is ready to ship, but I just have to press the play button and make sure. And this is the moment of truth, and it's a little bit terrifying because we just put nearly 2.5 hours into building it. So if I measured twice and cut once, then this should all just work when I press a button. And if I mess something up, it will probably not be apparent now. It will be apparent in a bug months from now. I don't want that. So, closing all of these cabin loops. We've got a plane NPC next to the player, but that's gonna just be the Willy Wonka dog. I think that's how I want to play that. If you board the plane, you don't get to see any other dog except for Willy Wonka dog. I think this is ready. I'm gonna turn off that plane track and try out this candy plane. See if it works. I should turn off this enable random object script while the large planes are still not constructed. That would be wise of me. So I will do it now when I remember it instead of later when I won't remember it and when I'm going to just feel deep pain and regret. Plane player object. Oh, the player object in the plane is stationary. It isn't per plane, so I couldn't even move it if I wanted to. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to find some way to solve that for special planes and for large planes. Not gonna think about that now though. So, going to press play. Moment of truth time. Okay. The curtains appear to... Are they appearing? I feel like they aren't appearing. Yeah, there's supposed to be a set of curtains here. Back to the drawing board. Oh, or is there not? Did I just not put a pair of curtains there? Weird. Okay. Feels like there's something missing here. If I turn off wall 1 and I turn on wall console 1, how does that feel? Is that too busy? Let's see, by just testing it. This is the testing phase. It's randomizing. At least I hope it is. Is it effectively randomizing? It appears to be randomizing. Fun fact, the plane foley in this scene, since we don't have the... There it is. Candy plane. We just got in the track from our composer now, actually, so we can just stick this directly into the game files after I archive it elsewhere, just for safety. Plane tracks. See, go into the files, drop in Candy Plane, and put that into that project folder. But anywho, going back to what I was saying, the plane foley, what it feels like the rushing air and so on, that's actual audio I recorded on a plane. Almost got in very big trouble for that. But I did it. Wouldn't do it again. Probably for multiple reasons. But I probably wouldn't / shouldn't do that again. Let's see. That chosen track is stuck in. I'm pretty convinced that wall console is the direction to go for all of the pieces. So we just got to alter that. across the board for, what is this? Wall console 1. Gotta turn on burnt. Gotta turn on wall console 1. Gotta go to purple, turn on. Oh crap, I also have to turn off the wall, the regular wall. Otherwise, it will intersect in bad ways, which will come back to bite me later. Wall console 1. Activate both. Make sure I've turned off wall 1. Yes. Finally, wall 1 here. And turn on wall console 1. Great. Then this should be all that's necessary. I can also change the color of this a little bit. Ooh, yeah. I'm using the same. I'm gonna try something. I'm changing the main colors for several of these, which is a risk because we're dealing with randomized elements. But if I change it effectively, we will also get a different vibe than the standard one we currently have on the plane. Is there plane tracks? Candy plane. Sounds like there's a hissing. Regardless, it seems the actual it seems the actual it seems the color randomization is working as intended. If I turn down the volume to like 0.2, point of Candy Plane is that I can't guarantee that every color combination it puts out looks good. But I do think that it's too bright over there. This feels nice. Over there, there's something going on. Is it just using a basically pure yellow? Yeah, we wanna... Let's make that a purplish. We're going with stuff in the purplish part of the spectrum, but that feels like it will work better with our color schemes. It seems that the plane wing is randomized as well. It kind of just all worked, which is not typical in game development. I'm not seeing any obvious problems with Candy Plane aside from the fact that I want to change the... Oh, is the volume on all these different? Let's change that all to 0.3. Uh, 0.3. Play on awake loop. The problem I'm having is that the player is too far down in their seat to see the candy plane. It works really well. This might be the point where I have to do some shenanigans. Plain player object. I'm going to try something ill-advised and sudden. So I'm going to duplicate the plain player object. And stick him into normal plane. And what's going to happen is, if I'm correct, only the instance of plain player object that we're actually using is going to be used. And what that will allow me to do is have this instance of plain player object just a little bit higher in their seat. And as a result, candy plane should feel better if my hypothesis is correct. This does feel better. I'm not sure about the color of the lights, though. I might change that back. Also, this is where I said it was a little too bright. Let's go with 1.4. Yeah, that feels a little bit better. And we brighten it up. Man, what a change. Might be able to change that down to 1.3. 1.45. Yeah, so now the player can sit in different positions according to what plane they're sitting in, which is something I want to get in eventually by the by. And that was really simple, which is a blessing. Now I just need to press play and continue testing this. Seeing this, I can understand why everybody was telling me to really, keep the candy plane around, because at first when I saw it, I was like, I can't do quality control. But when you're presented with this randomized, goofy landscape, it makes you feel more connected to the dogs than ever. This is a place for them, by them, in a way that a lot of the airports and airplanes even don't necessarily feel. I like this a lot. Thank you so much for building this with me. I've been Xavier Nelson Jr. I'm the developer and director of an airport for aliens currently run by dogs, and this has been our LudoNarraCon development stream. We made a plane together. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, have a fantastic LudoNarraCon and a fantastic day.